This is a story that really bothers me because I look at the licensing process of so many states now when they want to look into your background. There's so much stuff they look at, and usually none of it has anything to do with, will you treat a customer fairly, and do you know how to do the work properly? And in the end of the day, you get companies like this that you're going to hear about who basically just scam people and continue to give our trade a very bad name, and that they're licensed. And so they must be credible, right? All right, let's dig into this. Fiberglass 3-tab shingles. After having 3 roofers and companies shot down by the insurance company due to, hell, I don't know, I finally let my husband pick one. The lady told me over the phone, we got to have the $125 to get on the roof to inspect. Fine, let's just get it done. I had a limb damage my roof, less than 200 square feet, and the gutter. 2 guys showed up 2 hours early. I wanted my husband home when they came. They were up there about 20 minutes and left without even a word. 2 days passed, so I called the company. I was asked to email the insurance paperwork, and they had an estimate, and she would email back. She calls me 30 minutes later and tells me that I need a whole new roof. I tell her, I'm sure I do, but that's another day. Just send me the estimate and let's get this done before winter. The damage occurred in July, and now it's November. I just want the insurance company to be satisfied before it snows, and frankly, I've about reached the end of my fuse. Okay, I'll understand. I'll send it right away, she said. Finally, I said, before I could check it off, Miss Thing calls back to tell me that I have 3-tab shingles, and they don't make them anymore. The only way to fix my roof is to rip it all off and get a new one. Deep breath. I told her that I wanted my $125 back and to have a great weekend. I turned to my dear husband and said, good job, and looked at their website, only to find in big letters, free estimates. So here I am. I don't know a damn thing about roofing. Out of $125 and begging for someone to explain WTF just happened. Well, let's talk about what just happened. Okay. What happened is you've encountered a company that solely tries to work with insurance. And why? Well, because if I got to give you a bid and you know the numbers, then things are fixed. But when I can go back and do what's called supplementing, whether I'm using Symbility or Exactament, where I can manipulate these numbers and go back to the insurance company and get greater payments out of them and work up my prices to them, instead of having a fixed agreed upon price like I'd have if I gave you an estimate and a bid, this can be very profitable. And that's what they do. They're looking for these jobs like this. That's why she wanted your insurance paperwork. And at the end of the day, they probably give you some kind of a bid or maybe not. And what they tell you is that, hey, your insurance is covering everything. So don't worry. We're going to work with the insurance company, and they're going to make it sound like, yeah, your insurance company might pay really cheap, but don't worry. We're your buddy. We're going to do it for the cheap price that the insurance company gives. Meanwhile, they're going to go to work with the insurance company. It might take them months to get paid because they'll hold out. If they're a contractor with enough cash to sit on, they can hold out to push the numbers higher with the insurance company. That's what you're dealing with. A lot of storm chasers use this practice, and now it's gotten to where even a lot of local roofing companies, they go out of their way to keep looking for damaged roofs that they can file claims on and work this up. And while there's nothing wrong with that on the surface, just like any good thing, if done wrong and without many ethics, it can go bad. As far as our 3-tabs still available, you just don't see them that much anymore. You used to be able to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and still buy them. I talked to my supplier because I did another video about 3-tabs last week. They said they have some in stock. It's not many, but you can kind of still get them. You may just have to order them, and it depends on where you live. It may not make any sense to order them. But at the end of the day, 3-tabs were an insufficient and they were just not a good shingle. Dimensionals were far more superior, and that's what people have gone to. They have better wind resistance than 3-tabs. They just last longer, and they're tougher. And that's the deal. That's why everything's gone to laminates and why 3-tabs are getting harder and harder to find. much like T-locks. You used to be able to kind of get some T-locks here and there, and now I don't think you can even get those at all. And it doesn't matter what they are because the odds of seeing a house with them on there. But that's just things change, new technologies come out, like everything else. That's why they're probably saying you can't get the 3 tabs anymore. I think if you were in the Salt Lake area here where I am, I'm pretty sure I could get you 3 tabs. But it's regional. These things are heavy and they have to be shipped. And in order to do that, that's why there's some places, certain manufacturers aren't available and some are more predominant areas. And it's just because of where their factories are and logistically shipping the darn things to an area. But that's what happened to you. If you're in a position where you're just trying to fix one section of the roof, you could put an architectural shingle. If it's contained to one section, you can do that section, one half of the house or one side in an architectural shingle or dimensional, whatever you want to call it, laminate shingle. And then a year or two from now, do the rest of the roof when you get around to it. If you can find someone that will deal with you ethically and work through your insurance company and thinks they can get a claim for the entire roof, go for it. That's my advice. But only you know what your financial situation is. And at the end of the day, your insurance company is only going to do what they'll do. But I would recommend every state has a little bit different name for it, but there is usually some kind of registrar of insurance, commissioner of insurance, something like that with every state that oversees the insurance companies. And if your insurance company is giving you the runaround and you're not sure if you think they might just be rejecting you out of hand, you had damage to your home. It has to get fixed. If a limb bunched through it, unless your policy says we don't cover limbs damaging your roof, which I don't think is the case, you'll have to look at your policy. I would recommend you call that insurance commissioner, whatever they're called. You'll have to look it up in your state and tell them the situation, and they will look into it. And what's nice about it is when they find that you're in the right and the insurance company's in the wrong, it's like lightning from heaven, and things start to happen magically. They make the calls to the insurance company for you, and they set them straight. That's my best advice. And at the end of the day, that's what I would do. Find a way to get it fixed and look at your options. But that's what happened. You ran into a semi-sketchy contractor, in my opinion. Happy roofing.